And the best way I know to improve your ability to focus is to read. And a lot of people find they can't read. They can't sit down for 2 hours and just lose themselves in a book because they're getting distracted by their phone. So actually, reading is a really good way of practicing your focus, as well as obviously it's a good use of your time anyway. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's fiction or non-fiction. I mean, fiction's great because it just helps you relax and takes you to another world. But non-fiction, particularly, like the return on investment in non-fiction is insane. You know, someone spends 15 years learning something, they put in a book and you can access that learning in 5 hours. Like, it's just an incredible use of your time. So this is another question you need to ask. So I've got this from Cal Newport, who's an associate professor of computer science, Georgetown University, I think. And he says, right, so the problem is, like, we have deep work, we have shallow work. Shallow work is booking a train, doing stuff you could do on autopilot, right? You know, triaging your emails, that kind of stuff. And then we have deep work, like reading a new report, learning something on a course, interpreting a data set. So you need to identify when you're trying to attempt deep work, but you're in a work environment that's distracting you and is only conducive to shallow work. So in terms of workplace design, this is really important as well. So everybody needs a workplace where there are different spaces you can go and work depending on the type of work you're doing. Like having an open plan office with everybody with their own little rabbit hutch to work in doesn't work. Like, you're going to be actually in this situation when you're attempting deep work in a shallow work environment. So you need spaces where people can go. And if you look at modern offices, like recently refurbished offices, like Comic Reliefs in London, for instance, they'll have a quiet room, they'll have different size meeting rooms, they'll have these little pods. So you increasingly see these soundproof, like TARDIS boxes that people can go into. By the way, there is a problem with those sort of facilities. So I've spent a bit of time working in those kind of booths and what have you when I'm doing energy audits, and they're not very comfortable. Like, ergonomically, they're actually quite poorly designed. So the next stage will be to have these different spaces that are designed well ergonomically, so people don't get bad backs when they're sat in their soundproof booth. Right. So to achieve this 5 times productivity, 3 things.